Today, we're going to be talking with a very special guest about how coaches can actually leverage their speaking careers to be more profitable and make more impact. That's all coming up next. All right, I'm back here with my homie Kantis, making sure we're all set here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the LVTV podcast. And we talk all things content, clients, and cash flow for the profit and focus impact coaches and consultants. And we have none other but the internationally known Kantis Simmons in the building, man. What's going on, my guy?
Man, a lot is going on, brother, but I am so blessed to be with you, man. I'm so blessed for your podcast, so blessed that you're getting your message out and helping coaches and entrepreneurs, man. I'm just so honored. And yeah, man, speaking, getting this word out internationally. That's what's going on for me right now.
Man, I love it. I love it. And one thing about you, Kantis, before we jump into what we can, I just want to honor you first and foremost for coming on the podcast. But man, you are one, and I think I told you this in person. You're one of the most brilliant minds I've ever met before. But you're also one of the most humble guys. Like there's a group, a category. You made like the top list category of one of the most humble individuals that I know. Because if folks were to read your resume and really read up on you, I mean, you carry yourself like just an everyday Joe when you could flex.
Right.
You could flex. So I just want to honor you with that, man. Let you know to continue in that way. I don't have to tell you that, but I appreciate it. And that's why I love connecting with you, whether we just chatting it up or we doing this podcast, man. So I just want to dive straight into it, man. What was the moment that you had where you was like, you know what, I want to work with speakers? Because you've done everything else. Like I said, I'm not going to go on your resume. We'll be here for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But what was that moment transitioning from so much that you do to say, you know what, I want to work with speakers?
You know, man, I started speaking probably in 2004, and I was speaking at schools and colleges and doing it part-time, right? Mm. Doing it part-time, speaking and working as a full-time scientist. And I started experiencing a little bit of growth, and then I felt like it was failure. A little bit of growth, then I felt like it was failure. And then I realized, even in my academic career, my career as a scientist, the way that I was able to hit those levels was through mentorship, right? And so I started mentoring with guys like Josh Shipp, mentoring with guys like Jonathan Sprinkles. And see, with Josh Shipp, at the time, he was like one of the #1 speakers in the youth market. And then Jonathan Sprinkles, like one of the #1 speakers in the college market. And so because that was my niche, I said, you know what? I understand mentorship. And as I started growing, man, and here now in 2021, after 15 years of speaking, I think the light bulb for me, it really clicked a few years ago. I was blessed I still am working with Dr. Eric Thomas and Carla C.J. Quinney. And they said, hey, Kantis, I want you to come on our team to help coach and mentor some of these speakers. And so I was working up under Eric Thomas and Carla C.J. Quinney to get this message out. And one day, Carlos Quinney, he sent me a text message between him and a conversation that E.T. had.
Yeah.
And the conversation was like, basically like E.T. was like, yo, Kantis that dude.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, wait a minute. Probably the #1 world's biggest motivational speaker through a text message is telling his colleague, yo, Kantis that dude. And since that time period, man, I've turned into probably this if we got a 6-speed, I'm probably in speed number 7 now, where it feels good when the people that you've mentored under and they say, oh yeah, you that dude. Yeah. That's when the light bulb hit for me. When I go through my speaking career, the ups and downs that I've had, it's like, dude, that's Kantis. That's my life. Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But for me, when I realized, oh, wow, I'm that dude. And I realized this, like when you're that dude, for me, the light bulb is, okay, as the dude, It's your responsibility to make sure that the people behind you get to where you are faster,
Come on.
sooner, and without all the hiccups that I've experienced the last 15 years. Right? And so now, probably the last 2 or 3 years, I understood that, you know what? Okay, I've been coaching a little bit, whether it's behind the scenes with speaking and people building people's websites on Kajabi and different things, building websites. I've done it over the years, but I think when I heard and when I see people that I used to work under, and they say words like that, when I have the opportunity to coach any new speaker, new entrepreneur, whether it's speaking on stage or whether it's marketing their message or monetizing that message, my whole goal and passion is, sir, ma'am, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made 15 years ago.
Right.
I don't want you to make the same mistakes that Dr. Eric Thomas made. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I've seen Jonathan Sprinkles made and we talked about, or Josh Shipp make, right? So I take all these things that I've learned from my mentors to say, listen, I want to give you some cheat code. I want to give you the cheat code to tell you immediately what works, what doesn't work.
Nice.
Tell you why you don't want to spend thousands of hours on social media if that's not the place where the event planner is booking speakers, right? Because sometimes, like, man, people use the wrong, bro,
you jumping straight into it. I love it. Let's go.
Right? Like, you and I got a great friend, colleague, right?
Yeah.
Markwell Russell.
Yes, sir. And
I guess people don't really understand how well I know Markwell, right? right. Yeah, they don't know I know him real well. So I had somebody come to me. It was like, yo, I've been following this guy, Markwell, and I want to run my campaigns just like his campaign. And I was just listening. And the campaign that they saw, Markwell doesn't even teach that campaign yet, because Markwell and Dre, they will work on some things behind the scenes before they can prove that it works. Exactly. And so some kind of way they saw that campaign, was like, hey, I want to do that campaign. And I looked at that person, I was like, listen, you're not ready for that campaign. Number two, you don't even know why he's running that campaign. Right? Just because you see him everywhere, it doesn't mean, let me say it this way. Sometimes we'll see the big wig. Sometimes we'll see people look up to.
Sure.
And because we don't know them, we think they have it all together. But the reality is, entrepreneurship, I call it this way, is experimentation.
Yes.
And even though Markwell and Dre, successful Client Attraction University, the entire squad, they're successful, but what this person didn't know was that they were experimenting with the campaign to get things to a certain, level. Right. And I say to people all the time, it's like, listen, you can't emulate what you think the gurus are doing without getting with the gurus.
Come on.
This person was trying to reverse engineer a campaign just by looking at the stuff on the outside, Liv. Based on what they thought. Based on what they thought they saw with the ads, based on what they thought they saw in social media with the stuff that you do and the stuff behind the scenes, right? They thought they saw it on surface. And I was like, listen, you're kind of close.
Yeah.
But because you don't really understand the system, you're taking a piece of the system and trying to apply it to yourself. And I just believe, man, that the number one way for anybody to grow their business, let me say it this way. A few years ago, Lev, and I know you're from the Midwest, right?
Yes, sir.
So, back in it was 2007, 2018, everybody was trying to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we saw the Lakers and people from the East and Milwaukee and Miami, everybody building their team so they can beat the Golden State Warriors at the time period, right? Yep. Now, I say this to people. There's a reason the number one guy is the number one guy. And there's a reason the number two guy is the number two guy. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? Was 6, 7 Super Bowls?
Yep. 7 now. Or 6, 7.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. But check this out. Sometimes we can't remember Who was the team he beat on the third Super Bowl?
Right.
Who's the team he beat on the fifth Super Bowl? Right.
I can't
We
tell
never
you.
ever. Right. We don't remember the second place guy, but we understand the first place guy.
Yeah.
And so my recommendation is, if you find any person in a certain space, invest in mentorship with that person. There's a reason the number one guy is the number one guy. And if you want to be the number one guy, then you study with the number one guy.
Right.
That's why, as a speaker, man, let me find who's the number one speaker in the youth market, Josh Shipp. Let me find out who's the number one speaker in the college market, Jonathan Sprinkles. Let me find out who's the number one speaker in the professional motivational market, Dr. Eric Thomas. And so I mentored with them until it got to a place where we're no longer mentors and colleagues, but we're friends.
Yeah.
We're brothers.
Yeah.
And I encourage, that is, in short, my recommendation, just to, grow your speaking business. And even for me, when the light for me clicked, was when that guy was like, when Dr. Eric Thomas was like, yo, he's that guy. And so now I'm blessed to oversee Eric Thomas and Associates Speaker Academy, called Game Changers.
Bro, listen, you just gave a lot of gold in a short period of time. If people are listening, right? And there's a mutual person that we know, Kendall Ficklin, says people want what it look like. Like we always like, we see we see that thing and then we like, yo, I want that. Let me grab it. Let me jump on it. But again, not knowing the strategy. So they'll see a Dr. Eric Thomas and they'll say, I just want to be, bring it from the bottom, and all they want to do, thank God it's Monday, but they don't understand any and all of the nuances and what I've come to find out. Because I used to be that person. I used to look up to folks and say, oh, I'm going to take this from this person, this from this person, and never knew why they were successful and what they were doing. And it made me become a failure, even though I had what it looked like. Right. So I want to ask you, for coaches and consultants and service providers who want to get into the speaking space, because they see the glitz and the glamour, right? They see it, or maybe they're gifted, right? Let's give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. They're gifted. They possibly have a book. How can they leverage the speaking side of business to really merge with their coaching business? Yeah.
So I have this thing that I call the 4 quadrants, right? Quadrant A, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I won't go into all the details of it, but there are some situations where, so first of all, it says, okay, if you have a message, like these courses, these coaches, like if you have a message, your voice can deliver that message. If you have a book, that book now delivers your message. If you have a course, that course delivers that message. Your voice as a speaker is amplifying what you already, let's say it this way, speaking is selling. Speaking is serving.
Okay.
Right? So let's say if you are a coach, and if you want to get more people into your coaching program, you can use speaking not only to one-on-one, but to one-on-many.
Yeah.
Right. So like I said, this later on today, I'm speaking at an international conference, right? About 3,000 people there, 35 different countries. Right. So got a little speaking fee, which is cool, right?
Sure.
But there's more opportunity now. So I can speak to these teachers, professionals worldwide. And then now, because of my speaking, which is serving, but it's also selling. So now my speaking now moves them over into my STEM education program. All right. Or let's say, hey, I have a book. And a lot of times people, we try to push our books, maybe like, the big time influencers, Steve Harvey, Tony Robbins. They can go do a book signing at a Barnes and Noble. Nah, right?
Right.
How can we now take our book and put it with speaking? And so now you could have an event. You could speak one-on-one or one-to-many, whether that's speaking on live or speaking online or speaking at a conference, speaking at a workshop, speaking at a retreat. So now you're getting on stage speaking. What are you going to speak about? The contents in your book.
Yes.
Right? So you got a 60-minute speech on stage to cover 6 or 7 different principles in the book.
Yeah.
So now speaking is serving. Speaking is now selling. If you do a good job of it, people now want to go connect and buy your book. All right. Let's say if you start out as a speaker.
Okay.
You start as a speaker. Now you can use speaking, which is serving, which is selling. I just said it this way, right? So, Lev, I got this really cool birth defect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so everything I do, I teach 7.25 principles, 7.25 ways to get better grades in school, right? 7.25 ways to teach science and math so your students learn it, love it, and live it, right? Let me just be honest with you. On stage, Lev, I know that I don't have enough time to really go deep with the 7.25 principles.
Right.
But here's what I will do. I will give you a good 4.
Yeah.
A good 4 principles, right?
Yeah.
Which will now lead them to my book, to my coaching program. Let's say this, for those people who may not have a book,
right,
or may not have a coaching program. Let me tell you how my book started. My book started from speaking on stage. And then I had my words, my voice transcribed into a book. Then I took my speech, which I could go in depth and give all 7.25 ways to succeed in school. Yeah. Guess what? Now those 7.25 ways became the 7.25 modules in my online curriculum. Oh, those same 7.25 things I speak on, now they become a part of my 7.25 week coaching program, a mentorship program.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the idea is we all have a message. How can we take that message? And I believe speaking is the foundation of everything today, right? Whether we're speaking on a podcast, speaking on a video series, speaking on a webinar, speaking on an online event, virtual event, speaking on a TikTok, speaking on whatever it may be. Speaking is an avenue that we all have, and that if we utilize, it can grow our businesses to phenomenal heights.
So here's my question then, right? So you broke it down eloquently, and you just, again, gave everybody the cheat code, right? So what do you say to people who say, is my message, so if I talk about these 7.25 things, then my book, 7.25, then my coaching program, 7.25. I think I know your answer, and I believe I'm 100% know the answer. But for that person who's listening, they're like, man, I'm saying the same thing over and over. They reading the same thing over and over. They go to my social media, they get the same thing over and over, over and over and over. Like, do I switch it up? Do I ever switch it up? Is it just the same thing over and over and over? Is it a broken record? Because sometimes I would imagine new speakers, new coaches, and consultants feel like they're pigeonholed into a corner. So what do you say to that person who may have that thought, hearing you just say that same program is a book, is a speech, yada, yada, yada?
I will say it this way. Number one, people have different learning styles or receiving styles.
Yeah.
Some people receive things through their ears, audio. Some people can receive things through their eyes, whether that's video or reading or visual learners. Some people learn or receive through experiences. All right. So let's say if you had a population of people and they only receive through audio.
Yeah.
Right. They receive through audio, but you got a book. You pushing your book, and all of those auditory learners or receivers, they're not getting the information.
Yeah.
Or let's say you have a book, right? And you need those individuals that need a little hand holding, but you don't have a coaching program.
Yeah.
So now by having the auditory piece, the visual piece, the reading piece, the kinesthetic piece to your business, you're now able to help a wider audience. So that's number one, understanding learning style and receiving style. And then secondly, it's something I didn't coin this term, but it's called TOMA, top of mind awareness.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
So top of mind awareness, right? So when you're on social, or when you're on YouTube, or when your content is in an email box, or your content is on a podcast or guest podcast or your own a book or whatever. Guess what? Sometimes there's a season in which people want to receive. Right. So Lev, you and I have conversations, right? So
yeah,
you and I both single, we out here mingling. You may be, I don't know your situation. You may be, getting closer to the end goal, right?
Yeah.
But check this out. In this season of our life, we're not planning. Well, I'm not, right? I don't know about you. I'm not planning a wedding right now.
No.
You're not, right? But check
she
this
may
out,
be.
Right. But there will be a season when we are looking for a wedding planner or a wedding venue or a honeymoon, right? Let's say if there's somebody out there who is book, coaching, audio, video. Guess what? We see them, but we really don't see them.
Right.
We hear them, but really don't hear them. But because they're so consistent, they are creating top of mind awareness in our minds. So when the season comes for Kantis and Lev to get married, we'll be like, oh, I know this coach who knows how to plan honeymoons on a low budget. Let me hit that person up. And so now, check this out. Their speaking has been serving us. Their speaking all these weeks and months have been selling us. And when it's time for our season to go ahead and get this little wedding situation pop off, boom, we now go to the guru. Yeah. So my recommendation is, bruh, so I come from a fishing family, right? You can throw bait out there and you can have everything right. But it may be a certain day, a certain season for that fish to say, yo, I'm hungry. And this is why, there is a world of possibilities, right? Not just United States, bro. There's money everywhere, not just the USA, right? And if we can take our message and be skillful with it, right? We are all messengers, but the challenge can be sometimes is when we are delivering two different messages.
Right.
It confuses individuals. Like Lev, if anybody's on, on this call, if you Google my name on Kantis Simmons on Google, right now, Lev, the only thing you will see is Kantis Simmons, the school success STEM guy.
Yes.
You don't see the fact that I'm a choir director. You don't see the fact that I coach speakers. You don't see the fact that I do websites, design books, coach. You don't see none of that. But that's been very strategic. I wanted to establish my name early on, Kantis Simmons, the school success STEM education guy, because I didn't want to confuse my ideal clients.
Right.
Now, maybe in a few years, I may come. I call it forefront marketing. I do backdoor marketing, right? So I don't have to do certain things like that. And I advise people that you never know when the season hits, or you never know. It can be, Lev, we've had those time periods. You from the right Midwest. It's summertime, but wait a minute. Why is it snowing in the summer?
Come on.
Why is it snowing in the spring? Right. And my thing is that regardless of what season it is, the winds may blow, the storms may come, but if you're being consistent, man.
Yeah. It's on, man. No, I love it. Dude, I love it. Let me tell you how real that is as I, high five you virtually. And I'm back into the gym. And, the Fabletics ads all on Instagram and Facebook, I ain't care nothing about them until I said, let me sign up for this 90-day. And I'd have bought 3-4 pair of shorts already. But that's what you're speaking about, that Toma being top of mind, and then seasonality, right? Everybody don't start at the first of the year to work out. So I'm excited. So what are some mistakes coaches and consultants and service providers make when trying to become a paid speaker?
Yes. Number one, not having a clear message. Not understanding that people bring you in to solve a problem, right? When I was working at NASA, they paid me to solve a problem. When I started working and developing contact lenses at CBA Vision, they wanted me to solve a problem within the eye, right? And so now when people bring me into their schools, they pay me to solve a problem. So number one, if you're speaking on any topic, what's the problem that you're solving, right? What's the number one problem that you're solving? So a big error is people not understanding their message and what problem it has. All right. Number two is not having, check this out, a marketing system, right? So I tell people all the times, you know, I direct the choir at my church. There are some women in my choir, Lev, that I believe can out-sing Beyonce or Rihanna, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. But guess what?
Don't nobody know.
They in the church choir, they at home sitting on the sofa with that amazing singing gift because they don't realize this. Beyonce is not in the Beyonce is not in the singing business. Beyonce is in the business of marketing her singing services.
Yes.
Right? So my sister at home, she can sing, but Beyonce is in the business of marketing her singing services. There's a lot of great people who has a voice, who can speak, who can get a message out. But a problem that people make is that they don't understand that you're not in the speaking business. You're actually in the business of marketing your speaking services. So number one, you got to have a message that solves a problem. And number two, you got to have a marketing system that's going to put you in front of the people that's going to bring you in. Now, Lev, you know, I live in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right? How come I'm speaking in Doha, Qatar this evening?
Yeah. You put that work in.
It's the marketing system. I just can't market over here in Alabama or Wisconsin or California. I can, but if I want to say, you know what, there's some opportunity internationally and worldwide, now I got to have a marketing system where that is concerned, right? So your message, your marketing, and number three, not knowing how to do money. Okay? Not knowing how to do money. I could have said not knowing how to do business, but I'm going to keep it in my M's. Your messaging, your marketing, your money, right?
Okay.
Not knowing how to take your speech and turn it into a book. A lot of people have that problem. Not knowing how to take your speech and turn it into an online course. Not knowing how to take your speech and turn it into a coaching program. All right? Let's just keep it real, Lev.
Yeah. Let's do it.
There are some time periods when that telephone is not ringing to bring me in to speak at a certain event.
Yes.
Oh, let's go with it.
Yeah.
2020. 2020, what happened? Oh, y'all can't gather. All events shut down. But as speakers, my business, because I had the foundation set, I could speak on stage. But when that was shut down, because I had a monetization strategy, now I can push my book, my online course, and even my coaching program. Check this out, Lev. Even during 2020, there was a little period where the mail systems were not working the way, like stuff was taking a long time to deliver. But because I had a system in place, now I'll take my physical book, and I can put it in an ebook, and now I can do virtual workshops or online coaching programs. So as a speaker, mistakes that people make, don't have a message, don't have a marketing system, and they don't spend any time understanding how to get money into their business. And so those are the three things that I feel like speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs can, they need to learn when speaking is concerned so they can really be masterful at it.
Man, that's real, man. I'm not even gonna ask you to give too much more value because if folks are listening to this and don't feel like hitting you up, listen, if this don't make you want to become a speaker, if this don't want to make you become an author, I don't know what will. Coach, and consultant, right? So one last thing before we get out of here. Obviously we'll talk about how they can reach you. But if you had one lasting thing to say to a coach who's like putting cash in your hand, so let's make it worth your while. They're putting, let's say 10K in your hand. What's the one thing I need to do right now to make that investment back? As a speaker.
Yep. I would say build an online course or curriculum.
Mm.
Why build an online course and curriculum? Because now, if you go somewhere and they give you a fee, right? And you go speak and they give you a fee, the event planner gives you a fee to speak in front of the audience. If you have an online course or curriculum, the people that you speak in front of, now you have a means for them now to take you home. So now they can pull up your online course on their mobile device.
Okay.
Because as you're speaking there, you only got 45 minutes to speak live, but you know you got a lot to say. Those things you got to say, you can now put it in your online course or curriculum. So now you get that speaking fee, and then now you can drive people to your online course and curriculum. But let's say this, you go to another event, it's a no fee. I ain't gonna say free. I'm gonna say a no fee event, right? You go there with no fee on the front end, but because you have this online course and curriculum, you can now make more money if you do it the right way from not having a speaking fee. So I will recommend people take what they have and learn how to put it into systems, modules, into a path where people now can consume it. You know, bro, we watch Netflix and Hulu and Prime, right? You know, you sit down and watch like Netflix now, everything is a series.
Yeah.
You look up, it's the next morning, you don't watch 13 episodes.
Quit telling everybody my business, man.
Right. I've done it, right? But what if people can have a way to go to your content, to go to your solutions, and they watch 13 episodes that's now going to show them how to use Instagram to leverage money, or how to use Facebook to draw more clients, or how to use whatever, you know, how to use your camera to capture pictures, whatever your expertise is, put it in a system where people can binge watch your content and now help them solve those big problems in their life.
Man, I love it. I love it, man. Again, like I said, folks by this point don't want to become a speaker. I don't know what's wrong with you, and definitely connecting with Kantis himself. So, Kantis, real quick, how can they connect with you personally? Because you do, like you said, you do a lot, but in terms of speaking, if they want to learn from you, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so on all social, I'm at Kantis Simmons, right now, I only focus all of my speaking within a speakers program with Eric Thomas and Associates called Game Changers, right? So if you go to ETAGamechangers.com, ETAGamechangers.com, let me just be honest, right? You're going to get me, you're going to get ET, you're going to get CJ and all of our coaches. Now, of course, Lev, now people may say, okay, why did he just promote ET's program? Here's what I realized, right? So I'm a partner in this speaking program. I've realized that if I want to have my own speaking program, which I could, I've learned how to take care of another man's speakers program. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like, let me be you know what the word of God says about being a servant, right? So let me take care of another man's speaking program. How can you be faithful of your own? You gotta be faithful with this, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, because of our partnership, everything that I deliver as far as speaking and getting your message out and in marketing, hey, over at ETAGamechangers.com. Also on Instagram, we have an ETA Game Changers Instagram page, so you can get me there. Otherwise, you can just DM me at Kantis Simmons on any platform, and I get you to the right place.
Yeah, boom, there it is. So thank you so much for joining us here, Kantis, on the LVTV podcast, where we talk all things content, clients, and cash flow for the profit and impact-focused coaches and consultants. Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again, and congratulations, man, on being even more international.
Thank you, sir. It's gonna be fun. Thank you.
Man, I can't wait to hear about it, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.